Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the State of Apex Legends. My name is Rainday, and most of you have seen probably one of my Apex Legends videos over the past month of making it since the game has come out. If you haven't, then I'm surprised. It's been pretty crazy growth for me, and I know a lot of people have just been referencing my videos without even realizing that they've seen them. Like, hey man, I know every YouTuber is using that music, and I'm like, well, I've used it in every one of my videos, and like, that feeling when you realize you watch way more Rainday than you think. So if you are new, welcome. If you aren't new and you've seen one of those happen across, I'm glad to be able to speak to you today about Apex Legends and the state of the game. There's been a lot of conversation, a lot of leaks about the new champion Octane or the new legend Octane. There's been conversations about the hitboxes and the ridiculousness of those hitboxes. And today we're going to talk about not only those things and what I think should happen, but the updates to the weapons, the updates to the legends, the community of this game, and can it actually beat Fortnite, beat any other competitor, and is that even necessary? But to start this off, I want to introduce a topic that I think we fail in so commonly in YouTube, and there's a reason why, I believe, but you guys can make your own opinions. It's called Radical Candor. Now, this is a great book. If you guys haven't read it, we had to read it for work. We had to talk about it for work. It basically means directly challenging something, but also showing that you care personally at the same time. It allows you to give somebody feedback, but not act like an a-hole and just basically make it so that you're just giving them information, and if they don't complete the task, they are a failure as a person. No, it's showing you care, but also saying, hey, here's where you can improve. So many of us, especially in YouTube, kind of go to the outrage culture and we make things about why things are bad. And I, as a channel, have tried to stand up for, I think that radical candor is where we need to go. We have to give feedback. We know that. But we have to be constructive, and we have to still try to keep our viewers in a positive manner when they leave our videos. I don't want you guys feeling sad and bummed out about a game you like after you watch my review or you watch my opinion. So that's where I think we can improve, and that's what this video is going to do. The first thing I want to talk about is Octane. Now, Octane has been leaked in several different ways, which makes you think that Octane as a legend, the new legend that they are assuming is coming out, and there I think are a couple, is going to actually exist. Now, Octane, in my opinion, the leak that I saw had a couple of things that were fishy. I don't know why. My vibe is that it may not be real, and the fact that they got a full screenshot of all the abilities, with the guy's Twitter on it, I just didn't really buy it yet. And it goes into this conversation around leaks in games. Heck, in the games that I professionally cast, like Paladins or Smite, or the games we work with at Skillshot, there are a ton of opportunities for leaks to take place, and people cover them. I don't like covering them because I've been on the design side, and I know that sometimes it could be disappointing to see something that's not fully ready to be released, come out halfway. I mean, imagine Apex Legends got seen halfway through, wasn't quite done. Everyone would write it off as just another BR. So I'm not a big leak guy. I like covering things when they're out, and so that's what you probably see from the channel. But I think already with these leaks, we've started to see the excitement that Legends will bring to the game, and I think that is a good sign for the future. Not only that, but weapons coming in Season 1, as well as cosmetics, which are always fun, but those are more for people who are engaged, gives me a bright light of thinking that this game will have some really nice bounce back potential throughout the course of its lifetime. How long will that be? That remains to be seen. But of course, I think it was just with the relative topic discussion of Octane and people covering in and going on to the leaks and all that stuff, I think it'll be really fun when they actually do come out. But I like to wait and see. We'll cover that on the channel for sure, if that truly is what it is. The second big thing that I want to talk about is hitboxes. Hitboxes in this game are crazy. I mean, we assumed, I made a video and I said, I don't know for sure. I haven't seen the visuals, but some charts have come out. Some visual charts have come out. And man, oh man, I'll try and show it in this video because it's that important. Look at the differences here between Wraith and Gibraltar. I mean, there's no wonder why Wraith wins more. I mean, people can hit you less. That's it. You're not dying as much because people can't hit you as easily. And we all knew that was real, but I didn't know the degree to how real that was when you just look at it standing next to each other in comparison. It's pretty heavy. And that's not a Gibraltar joke. I love you. I love you. I think he's got a great personality. I would love to play Gibraltar, but I'm finding that there's really no reason to do so if I want to be successful in this game and get good footage. So it leads me to this question. How do you handle this problem with hitboxes? It would be very weird if Gibraltar, you shot his arm and you couldn't hit him, right? Because you're actually shooting his visual model, but the hitbox was shrunk down to Wraith, right? Because then he'd have to be a smaller character. The only way to do that is to change his visual model to match his hitbox. The other way would be weird as well. You expand Wraith's hitbox, and all of a sudden, that thing is as big as Gibraltar. But you're looking like, wait, I just hit like way far to the right of her, yet I still hit her. I hit way above her head, and I still got a headshot. That doesn't make any sense. So they've mentioned as a studio, Respawn, that they've been discussing this internally, and I don't know how they will handle it. But I do feel that it's starting to become more and more obvious outside of the hardcore mains of Caustic, Pathfinder, and Gibraltar, that those 3 legends give you a pretty severe disadvantage to players who can aim well, when you're against players that can aim well. So how they handle that is interesting, and I think that's going to be a big talking point until that is at least responded to by Respawn, and I hope that it does happen soon. Moving on from hitboxes, because I think that although those do give some differences to the gameplay style with their abilities, trying to, kind of like develop a playstyle around a bigger hitbox. So for instance, the Gibraltar has a shield, the Pathfinder has incredible mobility when you learn how to use it. The Caustic doesn't have to be out, he could be indoors, so he doesn't have to expose himself as much. At the end of the day, sometimes it just needs an answer, and I don't know if they have it yet. Maybe the abilities need to get buffed. Maybe they need to get a little extra health if their hitbox is that much bigger. Maybe 200 to 220. I don't know, but I think there is a conversation. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Now, to truly move on from hitboxes, I did want to talk about weapon releases. Now, weapon releases can be a very tricky thing, because if you introduce a weapon that people radically despise, like the Wingman, it is going to hurt your game. People will just be more salty about it than happy. At least the outcry from the less than 1% who's on stream, who's on Reddit, who's the more dedicated players, not the people who just log on to their Xbox and don't know what Twitch is, or don't know what Reddit is, or haven't really been on it and just play after school and then go hang out with their family. So the concept around a weapon release is really imperative to see the way that team decides to develop their game. And I feel like Respawn has done an incredible job. I mean, you look at the Havoc. This weapon has absolutely not made waves. And that's amazing. That's so good. Because the weapon can be very effective. It means there's depth to the weapon. It means I've had moments where it's great, I've had moments where it's weak, but it's not ruining my games when they just introduced a random weapon that wasn't even a part of the core game that I fell in love with. One of the hardest things to develop about when a game is that you have a game people love, but you want to add new content, but then you don't want that content to ruin the core experience of the game people love. So this is really, really just one of the brightest spots for development that I saw from Respawn. The fact that they introduced a weapon that had variety, that had a skill cap, that had moments where it could be dominant, moments where it could be relatively weak, and they knew how to take advantage of how to balance that weapon from the get-go means the thought has been put in. The leadership seems to be on point, and I'm very excited for weapon releases as a high point for this game in the future. Sometimes you feel weapon releases could be a low point, or there's nothing, they're meh, and they make you feel like there's nothing new or good coming out about a game. The Havoc is fun, the Havoc is cool, it's high skill cap. I don't think people have even figured out fully some of the potential of the Havoc, and that's what I like about it. So that gives me some relative hope for the future of this game. Now, we talked about hitboxes, we talked about Octane, we talked about the Havoc and the weapon, and I think when you look at it, the game has a strong Season 1 opening potential here. I think new legends, new weapons, and some cosmetics are going to keep people excited for at least March, April. But the question is, what happens after that? A lot of people look now at games and say, if this isn't the #1 game in the world, this doesn't usurp Fortnite, then it sucks. Or it's gonna die. This is why I don't like more of the outrage culture style of thing, because there's no difference sometimes between not as good as it could be versus the worst game ever. And that is where I would like the community, which we'll talk about towards the end. I want the community to be the last and most important thing we talk about in this video, so stay tuned for that. To be looking at this game as a game that is going to build itself for stabilization. I mean, look at the way that they launched. They launched a fully full game. That is a very rare thing nowadays in the days of demos and betas and alphas. And closed alphas and closed betas, right? I mean, we know that launching a full game as a AAA game that's also free to play is extremely difficult, and they did it. And I think that this team has been planning for the long haul to be a sustained pressure, to be a sustained wave at the top, and not just this tsunami that starts, breaks everything down for a little while, and then is over so that everyone can rebuild back to what it used to be. I think Fortnite will also still be a great game. Season 8 launch, people are hype about it. I think we're seeing big streamers like Ninja, excuse me for just hitting my desk there, Ninja, get back to his old self playing some Fortnite. I think we're going to see people start to split now between what I love about Apex Legends is this is going to fit a certain personality or content creator or streamer, and then Fortnite, it's going to fit a different style of content creator or streamer, and they're going to meet in the middle sometimes. The variety is going to be good for viewers, it's going to be good for streamers and content creators, it's going to be good for everybody. So the idea that one game has to be better or the other game is then, if that game is, Fortnite's bigger now and Apex Legends drops a little bit and then they're, Apex is dead, I think we should get that out of our system. I think they have set themselves up for the long haul to be successful and to keep me engaged. Now, honesty check before we go into the community and some of the toxic things I've seen and want to mention, and then the esports, which I want to talk about towards the end as well, just very briefly, is that I think that Apex Legends has just a special thing to it, that when I look at this game, although I do think that, yes, they're going to have some ups and downs, I'm not enjoying it as much as when I first played it, because there's no way I could. It's the honeymoon phase in a relationship, right? You never knew it. It just comes out. It's super hype. All these crazy things, right? And every single one of your friends is playing. That's probably died down to the people who are going to enjoy the game now, but that's okay. And I've actually still found myself when I hop on with some friends or I play with a new group of friends, or maybe I just played some solo queue and try some new weapons, like checking out underrated weapons in my last video. That was really fun and different. And I feel like that's going to be really where this game sits for me. Just a great BR. I didn't get burnt out on Fortnite. I never played the game, really. Although I loved watching some of the esports, I just never played the game. Obviously, I played a lot of Royale. I love that game as well. And so I think there's just, it's in the right spot for me. I just wanted to add that just quickly to say that, yes, it has dipped, but it's going to ebb and flow, in my opinion, in terms of the excitement and the hype. When a new legend comes out, best believe I'll be really excited to play this game. Even weapons. And I'm still making content for it, and I still really like playing it. It's just not as hype, obviously, as the first. And that's just honesty right there. Let me know what you guys think. I know if you guys still have the hype, let me know. Lastly, towards the end, talking about the community. Now, there have been a lot of moments when I've played this game and I've run across some TTVs, okay? Now, I know that some of the funniest content out there is people being super toxic in Fortnite. I know that as a teenager growing up, you are saying things that you are not necessarily saying in front of your parents with your friends. And now the internet is another way for you to do that. You could be toxic, you could say stuff that if your mom was in the room, best believe, brother, you wouldn't be saying that in front of your mom if you're a teenager. I mean, let's just be honest, right? But that goes up to even grown adults as well who stream and don't have anyone to tell them what to say, and they're on the internet. They won't see you again. And I've seen some really crazy interactions. And with a big game, you're going to get a minority of people, in my opinion at least, who are very loud, very outspoken, and very toxic. That is just going to be the case. You're going to see it in the comments section. You're going to see it in your actual games. You're going to see it on voice chat. As a community in Apex Legends, I would like to see the game actively choose to champion something else. And for me, my goal has been to actively choose my words, choose the way I present myself, so that I maintain giving you guys a calming but fun and entertaining and positive place to talk about the game. That is my goal in gaming. That's my goal in YouTube, to be a place, a gamer's haven, basically, heaven too. And my name is Evan. It all works out. To really be what you want to be and avoid some of that BS that comes with a big community like this. And I think if we have the intention, and I think if the intention from the game and then the studio represents that, this game will continue to thrive. I think the difference that this game has is when you build a new community, you can make that community what you want, but you've got to start early. And my message would be, let's start early by just being a little bit better to one another. Know that people are not always going to be good. I had a guy who said, have I ever played an FPS before? Have I ever played a shooter before? Because I shot at a guy who was on high ground. And I had used my mic with him the entire game. I said, hey man, I'm going here. Oh, you're two people. He's by himself all game long. Didn't answer me once. I'm getting shot at, not shooting at all, running away. I'm like, yo man, can you help? I need somebody. Can you fire at him so I could retreat under the cover of some of your safe fire, right? And he's going, nothing. And then I get shot, I get down. He says, have you ever played an FPS before? I mean, starts to try to lecture me, you got to just hit those guys with, hey man, yes I have. Yeah, I was just talking with you. This is an interesting time to use your microphone for once. You know what I mean? All those things, but you got to just show them the respect that you expect to be getting. Don't try to blast back with that anger. Show them respect, and hopefully they'll learn that this isn't a way they're going to get to you, and that there's a better way to communicate, maybe a little earlier or maybe a little clearer, and not try to act like, just some high elite person. Treat people with kindness the way you want to be treated. I think this game will develop into a really fun place for people to join. Lastly, I want to talk about the esports. The esports in Apex Legends has the ability to be pretty dang good. The way this game looks, I mean, I'm being completely, I love all different games. They bring a lot. But the graphics, the feel of the weapons, the legends and their personalities, I mean, this is the best elements of hero shooters and MOBAs and first-person shooters all in one. There's so many reasons to root for somebody, whether he's playing he or she is playing your favorite legend, their combination of legends together, the way the abilities interact, which we haven't really seen unless you're in the scrims behind closed doors. And as a caster who casts, professionally for a living, and as my day job, YouTube is my second job at night. I'm super excited to have the opportunity to not only get some gameplay out here for you guys that I'm casting, but maybe be able to cast some of the Apex Legends stuff. I think it would be really, really exciting and fit really nicely with a lot of the casting I've already done, which is very character, FPS shooting, but with abilities based. And of course, Battle Royales as well. I've casted Realm quite a bit in the early days when it was being developed at the studio. So it's like, I think it's a great opportunity, and to me, if they can keep the pacing up of what it feels like when you land at bunker and the fight's happening and then you rotate and then there's another fight and it just keeps on going, I think that style, whatever they do in terms of implementing their esports, is going to be just phenomenal if they can do it right. So I'm really on the lookout for that. I really would love to be involved in that, and I think even as our studio skill shot, which is, we just did Halo as well. We obviously do Smite and Paladins, but I think there's just some great opportunities to be involved in a game like this as they bridge the next gap into esports that honestly could be the best Battle Royale esports we've ever seen. I'm excited, and I hope you guys are as well. For me, that's pretty much it. The state of Apex Legends is that it's a good game. It is getting better, and that, yes, the hype has died down, and there are some issues, but overall, I think this game can direct its community towards a really positive line of thinking. And I also think that it's still going to be fun, especially with new legends and new weapons, and that the toxicity, although there now, like I said, can be kind of snuffed out or stuffed out. Let's just put it that way. Earlier than later. I don't have much else to say, guys. I wanted to just speak from my heart, speak candidly, talk to you about the game, and give this kind of state of the union for Apex Legends in my opinion. But if you all feel there are some personal topics that are important to you that I didn't discuss, or there's some things that maybe as a casual fan you would like to know about the game, or anything I can help you with, let me know in the comment section below. I'd be happy, and I'll be looking at comments seriously in this video. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and I will see you all next time.